Yes, precisely listening to you both, Danny and Paula, I was remembering things that happened a few years ago. I'll share part of a story from 2022 when I was reaching my professional peak and achieving many goals. I felt incredibly fulfilled, but I started having quite a few health problems. After many months of visiting numerous specialists, several doctors arrived and diagnosed me with a terminal illness, giving me no more than 6 months to live. On that very day I received that diagnosis, I was walking home, crying and feeling quite bad. Well, because of this news, I used to live close to where Brother Enrique Briceño lived, the former foreman here in Bogota. An episode, I'm crossing the street and called me. So I started talking to him. I showed him the doctor's papers. I told him everything, and I was just in a sea of tears. And he came, yelled, and said, yeah, give thanks to God. And I just turned to look at him with that face like, how? I mean, I'm telling you, they're giving me 6 months to live at most, right? That I have a terminal illness that's already, well, spread a terminal cancer that's already spread throughout my body. And you tell me, I thanked God, and I made that complaint to him. He says, well, of course, because there are many people, so many individuals who wake up in the morning and don't know if they'll return to and won't return to their homes. Many people who go to bed and don't know if they'll wake up. You have 6 months to fix your life with God, your life with your family, and your life with your siblings. Those are your 3 tasks that you need to do. So Lasa, that phrase, brother Enrique gave me, Talom, is stuck with me. I mean, it completely changed the way I was thinking at that moment and how distressed I was. And I said, well, yes, he's absolutely right. Thank God, thanks to him, he's giving me time and he's letting me know that I have time to fix my life with him. Most likely, if he had sent for me at that moment, I wouldn't have been ready. I wouldn't have been prepared. And as Danny says, I wouldn't have been on the list, most certainly. Why? Because I was focused on my professional career, on reaching the economic pinnacle, on many other things, but I wasn't focused on my life with God. I wasn't focused on my spiritual life. So if I had been called at that moment, I certainly wouldn't be on that list. Thank God. And I offer this as my testimony. After those months, I underwent numerous medical checkups, many procedures, and after 6 months, I had a final checkup where they told me, hey, we don't know what happened. We did this test several times because the first time we thought the test was wrong. The second time, Utesa, we thought it had been mixed up with someone else's, but having done the same exam 3 times, we can tell you that you don't have cancer in your body. So with that, I'm sharing this testimony with you. I've never shared it in church before. I was hoping someday to learn to play guitar. Not to be honest with you, I was hoping to learn to play guitar. I've been striving these last few months to be able to give a special and tell that testimony. But then, Brother Enrique's words, I am sure it was the Holy Spirit speaking through him where he told me what I was doing wrong and what I needed to improve. And that my cancer was that I didn't. I mean, sometimes God acts through illness to reach us, especially when one is so grumpy or so difficult to understand things. So I wanted to share that little part of my testimony. What I really wanted to mention is that basically Danny's words were what I had to follow for those 6 months, because the 6 months they had diagnosed me with were back in 2022, and now it's 2026, so we beat the doctors. The 3 tasks Brother Enrique gave me really stuck with me. And I know it's the Holy Spirit speaking through him. Fix your life with God, fix your life with your parents, and fix your life, your relationship with your siblings. Why? Because I talked to God every day, but I was always complaining. And every day my relationship with God was like, but why I'm on this, but why this? Why this other thing? Why this person? Why that person? I talk to him every single day, but I'm thinking, how tiresome is it to be lectured and nagged all day long? So that was my relationship. That was my relationship with God. So naturally, for the first month after this all happened, I also made Brother Enrique promise that he wouldn't say anything to my family. So all the medical process I was going through, which was already like 4 or 5 months into the medical process, I did it alone. So I made him promise me that he wouldn't tell my family anything until I made the decision to tell them. The first months I saw God more. I tried to change a bit more. That constant complaining, not to speak more with Him from a place of gratitude from what I ought to do. But I was stubborn, and I wasn't getting closer to my family, nor to my siblings, nor anything like that. So on the contrary, what did I do? I got a funeral policy and arranged everything for my funeral. That's how I tell it, no? Or rather, to be more precise. So I arranged my whole funeral. I arranged all the invitations. I arranged all of that. Yes, thinking I only had 6 months left. I said, well, I'm not going to leave anyone any problems. No, I'm not leaving debts. I'm not leaving anything else. My family will find out when the time comes. Yeah. But God, when He sees someone so is so stubborn, well, God gives them even harder knocks on the head.
What did He do? What was I going to say? What did God do?
A letter came. I was living at the time with my older sister. Did you hear a letter arrived from the EPS detailing my entire case? Yeah, they're saying I couldn't be out on the street alone, that I had fainting spells and hemorrhages. In short, that letter exposed me. My sister, who had already been suspicious, no? And well, he arrived and received the letter, and then he opened it, and my sister was waiting for me at home crying her eyes out, and she confronted me because on top of that she went into my room and took all the funeral papers. So he made me one way or another. I mean, the ways God ensures that you actually do what He commands you to do, right? We can be stubborn, but He's always more present. What did I have to do? That's when I really had to talk to my parents. Well, obviously, I need to tell you what happened when I spoke with my parents. My dad, you say, was a former minister of the message. He left the message, but he even became a co-pastor. And that made my dad, I wasn't speaking to my dad. That made my dad ask me to come back, that we talk every day. And every day my dad preached to me. So what did it do? My dad, I mean, through my illness, I believe God acted for what? For my dad to fall in love again with the message, to remember what it was like to preach to someone, and how privileged I was to hear my dad just for me. I mean, preaching to me every day, not one day for 12 months that he didn't do it. He still does it. He still does it. So, what a great privilege it was that God, by means of that illness that I had, would bring my father back to remember when he preached the messages and the teachings. Well, I hardly ever spoke to my siblings, even though I was sharing an apartment with my sister. So I started rebuilding my relationship with them, including my brother who was living abroad. The most difficult part was establishing a connection with my mother, because I truly didn't have one with her. And what did I have to do? Every single Saturday, I would go and call her, and I tell her, Mom, get ready this Saturday because you're going to have lunch with me. So say I started to have a relationship with my mom again. So do you remember the 3 tasks that Brother Enrique assigned to me? Or rather, the Holy Spirit through Brother Enrique. First, you need to mend your relationship with God. Then mend your relationship with your parents, honor your father and your mother, and mend your relationship with your family, with your brothers and sisters. I did that, and even then I was still counting down the days. Well, I only had 100 days remaining. I had a small notebook where I kept my personal countdown. Well, and I had the 90 days left, 107, then I had 60 left. Of course, I was scared, but I changed during those months, and I went from asking Yahweh, God, why did you give me the most difficult life? Why did I have to fight so hard for everything? Why did I have to pay for so many problems? Yeah, can I say, to say, God, thank you because today I was able to hear my dad who prayed for me. Thank you because I was able to speak with my brothers and sisters. Thank you because I was able to pray to you. Thank you because today I was able to spend time with my family. Today I was able to, I've already gone from complaining to giving thanks for absolutely everything. Yes, it was a transformation during those months. And I'd say I was truly privileged because, who gets those kinds of opportunities? And pues we reached the 6 months mark for the final checkup. I call it final because it was around 6 months. It was just before my birthday. I turned 11 in February, and that checkup was at the end of January. So for me, that was the last one. When I reached that checkup and received that news, I was like, Sioso, God only thanks to you for you allowed this, and you were the one who gave me this illness to also show me that you could take it away. So basically, I'm just grateful to God because from that moment on, everything changed for me. My perspective, my family, my relationship with my relatives, and my relationship with God. And truly, from that point, I felt like I was starting over, learning to walk again from scratch. So that's what God did for me in my particular situation. also of how he acted in my particular situation and the specific tasks that he gave me and that I had to carry out in order to achieve that sanity.
I just wanted to tell you about that.